Greetings and welcome. My name is Anthony Darkstone, and as you may know, I have a little section on globalmusic.club called Darkstone's Picks. And we thought it might be a nice idea to bring some of those wonderful people that were featured there and do a little video recording for you of different genres of music. As you know, last week we had the wonderful Habaka, who still is a great jazz and blues singer. Today is a little bit different and it involves music, of course. But it's particularly of interest to me today, both personally and, of course, professionally. Personal, why? Because it's going to involve some things that are very dear to me and been in my family for generations. What you're looking at behind my shoulder is a hand drum. And I deliberately put that there today, and in a moment you'll understand why when you meet my guest. That hand drum was made for me in Denmark by an adopted clan family after I had done some gatherings in Denmark at a wonderful place that they have. They have put my symbol into it, and as you can see very carefully, like a Viking ship. The drum in Danish is called Himmelskibet, which loosely translated into English is sky spirit. And I felt it was appropriate to hang it behind me today. That's enough about me. Let me now introduce you to my wonderful guests, dear lovely people who were introduced to me by another mutual friend of ours, dear Abigail Spinner McBride, who hopefully will be one of our guests over the next few weeks. So without very much further ado, let me warmly welcome and introduce everybody to the Way of the Sacred.
Hi, we are Way of the Sacred. My name is Sharon Silverstein Shambhala, and this is Deva Vidya Shambhala. And we will start with a short ceremony and a song.
To all our creation, to all our relations of land, air, and sea, sacred creations we honor as family. The four-legged, the winged ones, the creepy crawlers, the stone people, the aquatic beings, the two-legged, the elementals, to all of creation, from the smallest to the largest, we honor you, we respect you, we hold you secret as family. As sacred family.
To all our relations of land, air, and sea, sacred creation we honor as family.
We honor as family. We honor our family. We honor our family.
That was just wonderful. And as the Pachu saying, Ashoge and Dine cousins, Nishone. How wonderful was that? Thank you so much, both Deva and Sharon. The Way of the Sacred. What an amazing name to have for what you do. Share with us how you came up with this name.
Well, I think that we came up with the name around the time when the water protectors were standing up for their land in Standing Rock. And we were very much supporters of them at that time. And we were in the forest, and we were sitting in the creek and realizing that that land is indeed sacred, but everything in this entire earth is sacred. We just started to get this download how everything is sacred and how it is so important for us as part of this biosphere called Earth to revere everything and to honor everything as that sacred being.
Well, as the Lakota cousins say, because you mentioned Standing Rock, the earth, Inamaka, the mother, the divine mother, you have, and it's been fascinating and intriguing me, and I'm sure everybody else, a wonderful painting, just kind of in the background, if I could call it that. Now, you mentioned to me that it was Deva who painted that. Is that right?
Yes, I did. I was inspired to paint the Divine Mother as she appears to me, and she is very sacred to me. I am a great devotee, priestess of the Divine Mother, and so I channel her through writing and through speaking and through light language, and I asked her to channel a painting of her through me, and this is what appeared. And I can feel the love and the grace and the power coming through it.
Well, although we're kind of technologically here and it's being transmitted and we're not actually sitting next to it like you are, there is very definitely an energy, a power, a substance, whatever word people want to use, that can be felt. And I think, at some stage, I may well ask you to maybe bring in a close-up of it, maybe towards the end of our little conversation. But you also have written a book. You're an author of a book called Awakened Priestess.
Yes.
Another wonderful title. Little background on that, if you please. Yes.
So as I started to do the work with the Divine Mother, which I was called to do many years ago, and she awakened my own priestess nature. She helped me to remember my innate power, my innate wisdom. And as I began to learn this and to begin to stand and step into my role as her holy priestess, then I realized, and she made clear to me, that it wasn't just for me to know this. Like, I was the first one she gave to, but then for me to go out and to help other women, to help them to do this work. And so I started to do retreats for women, to bring them into their power and help them remember who they are. And then later, Sharon actually started to join me in leading these retreats, and we did retreats that we called Way of the Sacred Feminine. And then these retreats led me to see that a lot of women, they go back to their homes and they forget the powerful expressions that they learned about themselves in these retreats. So I really felt it deep in my heart, being called to write a book that women can actually, and men actually too, can read about in raising their divine feminine and remembering their sacred role on this earth. And I also created a CD with audio, because there's a lot of meditations and visualizations and ceremony and prayer in here
All right.
that I wanted to assist people with, so that they could actually listen to my voice and not have to be reading it while they're doing it. So it's been a very powerful book, really helping women, and also I've had men buy the book and also really enjoy it and help them to raise their divine nature as well.
Well, you know, we've touched on it briefly before, and I'm going to touch on it just very briefly again. It was Jung who spoke about the anima and animus, which is this quality of femininity and masculinity that is combined. And I tend to kind of go to the idea of it being the sacred feminine and the divine masculine. I mean, obviously, people choose different adjectives if they want to, but that's the ones I tend to use. And I think that's a very important element. And, you know, just for a moment to get away from all the kind of Hollywood images and Dances with Wolves and all that kind of stuff, which is all very entertaining and wonderful, but it's not the true nature, because in native culture, and I don't want to go a lot about into native culture, I want to talk about you, but as a way of leading into it, in native culture for centuries, it's always been the clan mothers. It's a matriarchal society and not a patriarchal society. That I mention it because it brings this feminine, this divine mother, the Lakota called Inamaka, which bring this together, because this is it. This is the feminine. There isn't anything on this planet that is created without that sacred feminine. So,
Yes.
you know, you can be the biggest macho guy in the world, but quite frankly, you know, without your mother who birthed you, you know, you're nothing. You're nothing. Seriously. Yeah. So, and as many people will know, you know, your clan is inherited from your mother, as opposed to, you know, your father's side. And that, you know, this has been, if you join the dots in ancient Hebrew teachings, and even till today, you know, you're not considered a Jewish person unless your mother was Jewish. So it's always back to this sacred feminine. Having said that, I want to move a little bit more into briefly about why the book says awaken priestess.
Well, so in this work that I've been doing with women, and Sharon and I have been doing together, I had this very clear knowing that the work that we're doing together is awakening the priestess nature within us as women, so that it's not just we're walking this earth without a role. We actually have a role. Our role is to help to give Mother a voice, to give Gaia a voice, and she speaks through us. And then we offer our devotion back to her and help everyone to awaken to this nature of understanding their connection to Mother Earth. And not just their connection, but actually their physical, you know, we are Mother Earth. So as we are devoted to her, we are devoted to ourselves. And so this was something that was very, very dear to me, and is still very dear to me, is to help women to remember that they are priestesses of Gaia. And when they come to that understanding, when they come to that realization, then they can step into that role, and they can remember what their innate gifts that have been suppressed for so many eons, you know, and remembering, reclaiming the role of healer, the role of midwife, the role of seer, the role of creation and manifester, and medicine woman, and all these beautiful, you know, the stewards of the land, and being the voice for the mother. And so this role of priestess is very broad, and has many different roles in it. And remembering how to honor the sacred directions, and how to honor the sacred elements, and how to honor the changings of the season and the wheel of life. And so this is all so very important for us to come back to. Because the reason why our world is in such chaos is because we've lost the connection to our mother. And we have drowned her out, paved her with concrete, and we've our society is so disconnected. So these roles of these priestesses are extremely important right now to bring our collective back into our symbiotic relationship with our mother.
Well, it brings me to mind, in fact, there's a talk that I do called Nurturing the Goddess. And in many aspects, I'm kind of in that talk saying what you've just said. And I was very privileged for the first time ever to give that talk. I was invited over to Window Rock in Arizona on the Diné, also known as Navajo, reservation to give that talk there. So it was a big honor and a big privilege. And I guess what you're saying is that everybody, male or female, but obviously more female, is that kind of goddess that pays, if you like, obeisance to the greater goddess, which is the Divine Mother. Would you kind of say that's a fairly accurate interpretation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like you said before, the divine masculine, divine feminine need to be, they need to be unified, and we all have that divine feminine, that divine masculine within us, and so we all hold part of that goddess within us. And it's been so suppressed that it's in men and in women, this goddess nature. And so this is time for us to really reclaim it. And some of the most powerful work that we've actually done with the Way of the Sacred Feminine is when men have come to our workshop. And because they didn't have a place that was safe for them to express their divine feminine nature, their goddess nature. And it's incredibly powerful because now they can have a place that's safe for them to allow this to rise up within them and to be fully accepted in that. So yes, I believe that everyone has the goddess within them, and she will speak to you if you listen to her. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes in very soft whispers, but she speaks, not in a loud voice. And some of the ways that I think, and we were chatting earlier, and the wonderful work that you do everywhere. And I know you're actually in a very kind of sacred area, Sedona in Arizona, which I know and actually got around to visiting. This is to do with sound, with healing, with I don't know, music, the joy, the expressions, vibrations, which Sharon, you're the keeper of the temple of tones, yes, which is the sounds. Share with us a little bit of that and your professional music things with octaves of love.
Yes, I've been immersed in vibration of music since I was a little child, just naturally drawn to it for my own healing and my own cleansing every day. When I was a kid, I would sing and I'd play the guitar, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was actually cleansing and healing myself because I went through a very traumatic, abusive childhood, and so this came very naturally to me. I know that I came in as a healer using vibration of music, and then went through many incarnations of being a musician, from being a classical musician through college and being a band director after leaving college, and then being a singer-songwriter, writing music starting in 2002. I had a spiritual awakening in California, and I won't get into that too much, but what it did was it opened me vibrationally to the frequency of love. And this frequency of love is the oneness of the collective consciousness and the oneness of all things. All things are in a vibratory state. So at the even molecular level, things are vibrating. And the highest vibration of all creation is love. And this came to me as a message, as a download. And from 2002 on, I created 3 CDs that would teach this to people, that would teach it through the vibrations of the music as well as teach it through the lyrics. And now Deva and I are creating a CD together to teach the next part of our awakening, which is the awakening that Deva just spoke of. And we do that through music and through lyrics. And then being here in Sedona has been kind of another incarnation for me as a musician and as a healer to use sound as a healing modality for people directly in a private session or a group session, using crystal tone bowls, using Native American flute, using drum, using frame drum, using rattles, using feathers. So all of this has been a complete journey to this point where using sound as a way to awaken people to their true nature of love.
And this, I think you're working on this at the moment, or was it completed yet? I believe the title, forgive me if I get it wrong, Flowing in the Mystery. Is that right?
Yes, it's called Flowing in the Mystery. And this is a CD that Deva and I, all the music is already channeled and written, and we perform it all the time. Yet we've only recorded 3 songs, and so we're in the process of wanting to complete this CD so people can have these tools of this music and the lyrics and the music itself to awaken them to their true nature.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot because it's a creative exercise. You know, how long is a piece of string? When do you think you might finish this? Because people listening may go, wow, I want this, I want this, I want this. When is it ready? You know, do you have any kind of idea? Like I said, it's a creative process and you can't rush it, you know, but you have some notion of when you think it might be ready?
Well, at this time, they can go to our website, wayofthesacred.com, and listen to the 3 songs that we do have recorded, which is the title track, Flowing in the Mystery, Awakened Priestess, which is accompaniment to the book, and Way of the Sacred, which is, you know, who we are. So those 3 songs they can listen to right now. And those are free and available. And
that's very generous. Yeah,
and
So go ahead.
Not. We don't know when the CD is going to be completed. That's the whole point of it's called Flowing in the Mystery. The mystery and being in the flow is something that people can aspire to in their lifetime right now. To be in the flow of the mystery is to actually allow spirit to guide you in your daily life. And so that you need to listen, you need to get still, and you know, these things are teachings. And so on our YouTube channel and on our website, we offer all of these kind of teachings for free. So people can get started to learn how to be flowing in the mystery. And then I'm aspiring to complete this CD before the end of 2020, for sure.
Okay, well, slowly repeat the website, then you send it to me and we'll try and put it on the tape as well, but just repeat it anyway.
It's Way of the Sacred, so the name of our band, wayofthesacred.com.
That's it. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we got these things right. So it's WAYOFTHE@SACRED, wayofthesacred.com. Okay. People, that's very generous of you to offer this to folks. But, you know, knowing you as I do, well, this is your nature of both of you. And I want to talk a little bit more in depth about the processes that you use when you are healing through sound and music, how you free blocked energies, past trauma. You, Sharon, you touched a little bit about your childhood, and obviously mentioned it was, a little bit traumatic. Well, quite a lot traumatic, I would imagine. Um, so people come to you, and there is an empathy, I would imagine, where you're saying, yes, I understand, not because you're telling me, but because I can empathize having been through it. So explain a little bit to us, and I'm sure people will be fascinated to know how you go about. Yes, I know you play the flute and the drums, and all of these things are wonderful, but there is a process, and that's what I'm trying to get at. How these blocked energies are freed, and there's a healing process for the trauma of the past.
Yes, well, I work with vibration and like I said, the crystal tone bowls, the drums and the flutes. But yes, there is a certain protocol that we have the participant partake in. It can be connecting in with their breathing, lying down, flat on their back, connecting in with their breathing, to start to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is that relaxation. Then bring them with the bowls and my voice, bringing them through a relaxation process, sometimes called yoga nidra, bringing them to relaxing their body, bringing their attention to every part of the body, connecting in with the breathing and connecting in with their higher self, to allow whatever gifts, whatever messages, whatever healing needs to happen. So they're not having to do anything except relax into the process, bringing them into a theta state of their brain, which is that brainwave state right before you fall asleep. So it's very relaxed, and it's very sort of like hypnosis in that way, where they are they're open to receiving the vibrational frequencies of healing. So then after that, I then get into a very meditative state and receive guidance of what part of their body I could maybe come over their part of their body with the bowls, or come over their body with the flute. And I am being guided by spirit to go to certain parts of their body and work specifically on that spot, or many spots, if for that matter, if it's called for that person, to clear and activate their chakras, which are these spinning wheels, vortex energy centers of the psychic energy centers of the body, where we take in information from the world and then we give out information too.
Right.
So we activate their chakras. I will clear any blockages with the vibrations of the instruments, and it's totally channeled, totally guided in the moment, and then give them a chance to really integrate all of what's happened, and then we sit them up and let them go through a process of integrating the experience, and then we can process that together verbally if they would like. And it's been very, very powerful here in Sedona too, because we go out on the Red Rocks and we allow the land to be part of the healing process. And the Native Americans here in Sedona came here for healing, and so we want to honor the land as well, because the land wants to support people in this process of healing and coming into their true nature of love. And Deva might have a similar process, but she uses some different modalities, so I'll let her speak to that.
Yes, what you were saying before she does, forgive me for interrupting. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there may be folks who are not too, shall we say, into these things and maybe just heard of them. Were you describing, in a sense, and only in a sense, a kind of yoga, a kind of Reiki healing? I think these are terms that people might be familiar with. Would that be an accurate way of saying it's similar?
Yes, there's some similarities, and then there's also some things that are not, maybe not part of those practices that I would use. So yeah, it is similar to Reiki. You allow the energy to flow through you and then come out through your hands to move, blockages and such. I'm not, I'm using more of the vibrations of
Right.
the instruments themselves, but yet I am still that Reiki master that allows the energy to flow through me and then flow through the instruments. So that would be the most accurate I can give, and that in comparing it with Reiki healing.
Well, I ask because there's probably people watching this who are not totally clear on it, but pretty much everyone's heard about Reiki, and that's why I said there are similarities. But you've explained it beautifully, and I think part of that process you use the word chakras, which is an ancient Sanskrit word, but you both also use in this process of healing and freeing blocked energies, etc., if I'm not mistaken, Hindu mantras as well.
Yes, and I would incorporate some healing mantras with the bowls to kind of open the healing session and call forth those healing vibrations of the Sanskrit language, because the Sanskrit language is a vibrational language first,
Yes.
not a communication language first. It's a
Yes.
vibrational language first. So when we say Shanti, which people say means peace, it's actually the vibration of peace. So if I use a mantra to invoke the vibrations of healing and invoke the vibrations of peace, it's very powerful, coupled with crystal tone bowls and other instruments for sure.
Well, Deva mentioned earlier on when she was singing and used the English phrase "we are all related," which you both know, of course, and I'm just saying this for folks who may not know when they're watching this, comes from the Lakota of Mitakayu Oyasin, which is, we're all related, we're all connected, everything from the tiniest little bug. So when you were talking about it and singing, we're all related, this encapsulates much of what you both do, because you actually have sessions and retreats, if I can call them that, where people come to you. Tell us a little bit about that. Have somebody's watching this saying, "Oh wow, I love this. How can I go see them? How can I talk to them? How can I get to them? How can I come and ask you for help or whatever?" How do they do that?
I mean, we have so much information on our website, wayofthesacred.com, that people can go to and get that information. We were in the process of creating a new retreat that's coming up, and then the quarantine came. So we are wondering what that's going to be like. But in the meantime, we do offer private retreats. So anyone who wants to come to Sedona and set up something that's specifically custom designed to their needs, because we offer many different, we offer an array of healing modalities. We offer sound therapy, we offer shamanic therapy, shamanic journeys, we offer healing sessions, we offer spiritual counseling. There's a very large array of what we do, and so people can go to the website and go under the area where it says events and retreats, and under that they'll tell you about the private retreats and tell you what's offered there, and then we can actually converse through email or through the phone and design something specifically for that person. In addition, for individuals, couples, or groups. And in addition to that, Sharon and I have been doing a lot of work because we really want to support people through this time, because it's a very challenging time for some people that really don't know how to navigate this intense energy that's been coming through. So we've been creating free classes and free experiences on our YouTube channel which you can find if you go to Way of the Sacred on YouTube. There are all kinds of videos that are supporting people in that way, so they can watch us at home. In addition, they can also call us during the quarantine now and do phone sessions anywhere in the world with us. And if they are in Sedona, or if they are coming to Sedona, we would love to meet anyone who would want to have an experience with us. So I guess that covers all the areas. Yeah.
That's very interesting because, you know, people watching this and quite literally, not all over the world, but I would imagine pretty much most of the world will at some stage watch this and go, okay, I want to get in touch. Now, obviously, they go to wayofthesacred.com. They go to YouTube, your channel, wayofthesacred.com. You have Facebook pages, both as individuals and I believe as Way of the Sacred. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Where they can, you know, there are a number of ways people can get in touch with you. For example, it could well be a small group or whatever and said, oh, you know, we're really in a heck of a trauma because of the quarantine and different things. Can, you know, a group of us just talk to you on a speakerphone and arrange a session that way?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Deva provides shamanic journeys, healing sessions over the phone. She's been doing that for a very long time now, and I provide also sound healings over the phone, and also we're both Reiki masters, and so you can do long distance great Reiki sessions with people, and we're also both yoga instructors, so we work with those realms in those realms as well.
And I can tell you that a lot of the sessions that I have with people over the phone are actually more powerful than when they're in person, because there's something that happens that we have to actually, our higher selves have to connect in the ethers, and so we really connect in this spiritual way rather than these like physical bodies, which are just like vehicles for our higher selves, right, or for our spirit. And so when these phone sessions come, it's easier actually to tap into that etheric realm together, and it's very, very powerful. So I love doing phone sessions in that way.
That's both fascinating and very, very interesting. And it never occurred to me, and I dare say it never occurred to many people, that you can connect through this phone line, this ether, as you called it, and there is no need to use that proximity. You can actually listen to someone, well, in this case, you explaining or talking or giving them some kind of, you know, healing vibration through a phone line, because I think, you know, the way the world is going at the moment, we seem to be more and more reliant on these kind of technologies. Instead of the old days where you had to dial a number and talk to somebody, now you can just do it on a cell phone, wherever you may be, you know, sitting in a park or, you know, at home, and call you up and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this or that or something else, and then you can advise them on what to do. What would you say to somebody who's, I'm so sorry, I've interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that we may look back on this moment right now, you know, even a couple years from now, and go, wow, we used to communicate by phone. How silly. Now we just can communicate through telepathy.
Yes.
Well, as as we know, and I dare say many other people also know, that used to be quite common back in the old days of the Aborigine people in Australia. Nobody could explain how it happened, but it just did. So maybe, as you were saying earlier, we need to come back to that. We need to connect with that, and it's really very joyous meeting people like yourselves who actually physically, practically do that. Because there's so many people who talk about it, who understand it, kind of, but you are the practitioners of this, yes? Let me come back to your book for a moment, Awakened Priestess. Can someone get a copy of that? Is it on a download? Can they get in touch and buy a copy from you?
Yes, they can go to the website, and we do have a store. Yeah, we do actually have a store. You're right. We have a store, and we also, you can find out more about what we offer individually under our bio page. So it says about us, I think, and then you drop it down, and then there's one for Deva Vidya and one for Sharon Silverstein. And I think that we have my book and my CD and Sharon's CDs are on our individual page, also talking more about what we do specifically as individuals. So that would be a good place for them to go. So just going to, if you go to the website, I think you can find everything there, because it always leads to like the YouTube channel or the Facebook or to the, you know, to the stores or whatever. So yeah, wayofthesacred.com, and then going down at about us.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, you know, my job is to ask you these questions because, you know, people watching this kind of go, well, how do we get in touch? You know, kind of thing. But I think the short answer is the one you just gave. Just go to the website and look for anything. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you're confused, just send you an email, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's an area on the website that says contact us, and they can just send us a message through that. Even if they want to just ask us questions, you know, we're really here to support people in this time. So if there is something that they have a question, and we can, if we feel that we have the wisdom to not answer it, we would love to help and support them in that way too.
We've talked about a number of different things. Obviously, you know, we'll need a long time to cover everything. So we just kind of picked and chose a few headlines, so to speak, rather than the whole thing. Oh, and by the way, if people really can't remember wayofthesacred.com, just go to globalmusic.club. There's an article in Darkstone's Picks, and it's got your info there. So there's no excuse for not getting in touch with Way of the Secret, okay? So it's sacred, so it's there. On behalf of everybody, I just want to ask you where and how, gosh, this is a leading question, you see Way of the Sacred progressing into the near and foreseeable future?
Well, this is an interesting question indeed. And I think it sort of goes along with what Sharon was saying with our title track, Flowing in the Mystery. We are indeed flowing in the mystery, just as the entire collective consciousness now is flowing in the mystery. None of us really know where we are going, because it is really a mystery of how this world is going to continue to expand and grow. And so I see Way of the Sacred as being a support system for those people who are really having a difficult time navigating these times. And perhaps when we do actually shift into whatever it is that when we come out of quarantine, what that looks like, we can be here as support systems for those people. Because it is a lot of time for us being home and really having to face ourselves. The shadow is coming up, and a lot of people don't know how to navigate working through that shadow, how to transmute fear into divine love and light, how to really develop that self-love so that we can move forward and clear all of the old low vibrational energies of the past, so that we can truly move forward. The low vibrational energies of, you know, resentment and regret and remorse and you know, trauma and all kinds of different things that we are holding within ourselves, with our bodies. And so we can use this time now to help support people to learn how to do that. Because we have really spent, Sharon and I have both spent a great deal of time, many years, working through our shadow, working through our traumas, and transmuting those energies so that we can maintain a higher vibration and hold this high vibrational energy of divine love, of peace, of truly being centered in the heart and grounded in that. Right. And so I do have a message, though, from the Divine Mother. She keeps telling me, I keep hearing her say, don't forget to tell them to hold their vibration high. And so what I want to say for the Divine Mother, to speak for her, is that she wants everyone to drop the stories, whatever stories they may be, because there are so many stories circulating throughout the planet right now, and each one is different and conflicts with the other one. And it's really time for us to drop the stories, to come inside and to listen, because we have the inner knowing. And as we listen, to bring ourselves to that centered place, to get grounded down with Mother Earth, to connect with the divine energy and bring it into the center of the heart, and to breathe here. The sacred breath is so important, to breathe into the center and to listen to the knowing of your higher self. And to allow this knowing to raise your vibration to that higher dimensions of love, of peace, of being centered in heart center, dropping away all of the old fear, all of the old dark energy, the heavy energy, all of the selfishness, the greed, the not enough programs, all of those programs that we have been so inundated with. Let them all drop away, all of them, and come into this place that's truly knowing that we are held by our Divine Mother, by Gaia, and that she has us, and that we will be safe and always provided for, nurtured, cared for, and loved by her. You know, answer that, Sharon?
Well, no, it was covered everything and very beautiful. The only thing that keeps coming through for me is love, love, love. We are creating a higher and higher octave of love. If you are in questioning how to get into your heart center, how to come into this vibration of love, then please contact us, and we are here to support you and hold space for you to come into this heart space of love. And I see Way of the Sacred creating communities at the local level, wherever you are. Create a community at the local level where you support your local farmers, support your local businesses, and get to know them. No matter how big your local community is, get to know the people in the community that you can support them and they can support you, because that's where I feel that Way of the Sacred is going, is more local, not global.
Mm-hmm.
But
well,
connecting with our global brothers and sisters through that local.
Absolutely. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that we start local and then we can go global, but we've been made to believe that we have to do it on a global level, that we order all of our things from other places and and the idea is to start at the local level, buying everything at the local level, and then we can expand back out eventually. Because if we can start at the local level of supporting our local businesses, our local farmers, and purchasing everything we need at the local level, then we can come back out to the global level. But right now, it's not at the global level, where we're going to do this healing as a community at the local level. That's the way I see Way of the Sacred kind of guiding people. And the most important local level is right here, right in the heart center. Start right here.
And also being really holding Gaia as sacred and holding our brothers and sisters, whether they be, of any kind of aquatic, of the air, of the land, is really like learning how to start to be more sustainable in how we buy things, so that this is something that's been a challenge for us that we've been really trying to work through, is like buying things that are sustainable, that are not causing harm to the earth or to nature or to humans. So really looking at how we are creating that is very, very sacred work right there, is really remembering how our actions affect Mama Earth.
And it's a relationship. It always comes down to relationship. The first relationship here, and then the relationship with Mother Earth, with Mother Gaia, and then relationships with the people around us, including all beings, human beings and plants and animals, and all of that. So we're really, coming back to sustainable relationships.
Yes.
Well, it puts me in mind of an ancient Taoist teaching where the student went to the master, to the Sifu, and he said, "What should I do to change the world and make it a better place?" And the master looks at him, the Sifu replies, "Begin with your own garden." So I guess what you're saying is, for all of us, the garden is here, right here.
It
And
is
then,
Yes, I hear.
it's here, and then from here we expand, because when we are truly centered in the heart, then we can see that the other as another one of us in the Kesha. So I can recognize that when I hurt you, I hurt myself. When I hurt the earth, I hurt myself. And so when I nurture you, when I nurture the earth, I nurture myself. And so, yes, absolutely. So when we really come into the heart center, we begin to see through the eyes of the heart, and we know this.
And this is where we're going. We are entering into the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the air sign, and the air sign in the chakra system is the heart center. So we are coming from our solar plexus, the fire center, up into the heart center. So this is the journey that we're taking as evolution. It's an evolution of consciousness. So we're moving from the solar plexus, fiery energy, into the air of the heart center.
Right, and the solar plexus is actually all about self-identity and independence, and the heart is about oneness. So we're moving from being independent to interdependent in the oneness.
And selfless service is going to be key. So instead of just serving oneself, you're in selfless service to all there is.
Yes.
And that in a form of spiral energy eventually comes back, if not to you, to your children or your children's children. So I think it's wonderful that that you touched on it again, that the redawning, if you like, of the age of Aquarius. I was a very, very young man in the first one. and we spoke a little bit about that. I think you were actually in one of the most famous musical plays, Sharon, weren't you, in Hair at that time? I think you mentioned it to me when we were chatting the other day. But anyway, what I want to do now, I think, is we're looking at the clock, which, all good things, as they say, come to an end, but they begin again. They begin again. So I would ask you, if you wouldn't mind, I personally would be very happy if you could just play a little something for us to play us out, so to speak. So before you do that, I just want to say a deep personal thank you to both of you for sharing your thoughts, for sharing what you do in Way of the Sacred. And apart from my personal thank you, I want, on behalf of everybody who's watching and listening to this, to also express the gratitude of everybody. So thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
welcome.
you very much, Anthony.
Thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, an honor and a pleasure.
Flowing, flowing, flowing in the mystery. Flowing, flowing, flowing in the mystery. Walking through the desert, sunshine upon my face. Rain is dry, my mouth is parched. No sign of you I
your power. I miss your grace. Dance of non-resistance. In the movement you made. Flowing, 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 flowing in the mystery. Flowing, 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 flowing in the mystery. Traveling on this journey is washing over me. Love and be loved to the floor. Sacred waters, a dance of sensuality. I feel your power. I feel your grace. Dance of non-resistance. In the movement you made. I feel your power. I feel your grace. Dance of non-resistance. In the movement you made. Flowing, 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 flowing in the mystery. Flowing, flowing, flowing in the mystery.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us on.
Not at all. A great, great, great pleasure. And of course, you give us permission to put this on YouTube.
Oh, yes,
course.
please
Yeah.
do.
Okay. And we'll send you the
Everyone's
link when
there.
it's all edited and everything else. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you again. I know over in Sedona now, it's probably what, about 2 p.m. thereabouts. Yes.
I guess so.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, I think it's time for a nice cup of relaxing tea.
Sounds great.
That's
So
wonderful.
on that happy note,
Thank you so
many
much.
thanks,
We look
many
forward to
thanks, many thanks again for everything. I send you good vibes and blessings. Thank you again.
sending
Thank
you good
you.
vibes too. You too, Crow. Thank you.
Thank you, Crow. Mwah.